The views, opinions, and content of this show are those of the host, guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect those of Local Matters Broadcasting, LLC, its owners, partners, affiliates, assigns, or heirs. Having said that, it's now time to say good morning, St. Johns County. Welcome to the weekly radio show of the St. Johns County Council on Aging, better known in our community as the COA. We are your local nonprofit agency who for the past 51 years has been leading and advocating for the dignity and independence of seniors and responding to their changing needs. I'm Brian Robinson, Program Director for COA, broadcasting to you live from the studio of WFOY 102.1 FM, your local radio station for news, sports, and talk. Before we get into our show, let me remind everyone that if you have a question, comment, or a suggestion for a radio show topic, or if you would like a private viewing of my double-jointed thumb and how I can move it in sync to a Michael Jackson song, well, you can send that email to radio@coasjc.org. Again, that's radio@coasjc.org. And before we get into our show, let me remind everybody that's listening today that you can support the seniors of St. Johns County by going to the Columbia Restaurant during the month of September. That is correct. Dining in September at any of the locations of the 1905 family of restaurants, including the Columbia Restaurant at 98 St. George Street in downtown St. Augustine, can help the seniors of St. Johns County. Restaurant guests simply choose Council on Aging from a list of charities on ballots provided with checks. The restaurant calculates the 5% donation and provides the charity with gift certificates that can be used at any of the restaurants for up to 12 months, and there's no additional cost to you. So you're not paying an extra 5%. That's just 5% of your bill the 1905 Family Restaurants then gives to the charity that you select. So if you go there during the month of September, mark Council on Aging as your nonprofit that you would like to support, and then we get those gift certificates, and then that's one way that we show appreciation to our volunteers at different times and to our employees as well for the hard work that they do serving our seniors. All right, well, today we are acknowledging that September is National Senior Center Month. As stated on the National Council on Aging website, National Senior Center Month is a time to shine a light on senior centers, showing the entire nation how vital they are to the health and well-being of a community. The 11,000-plus senior centers in communities and neighborhoods across the country provide access to information, opportunities, and support to improve the lives of people and their communities as they age. Joining me this morning is Leslie Gamache, COA's Program Manager, who oversees our 5 senior centers here in St. Johns County, as well as Teresa Harris, who is the coordinator of our River House classes. And later in the show, we will have Linda Black, a River House participant who has taken at least 83 classes since August of 2023 at River House. But first, we have Leslie and Teresa. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
Welcome back to the studio. I know that you've been in the studio with me before, so it's always good to have you here on the show. Leslie, I'm going to start with you. Anybody that's listening this morning who knows very little about our senior centers, would you just take some time, share with our listeners the locations and the hours for each senior center and the type of programs and services that we offer?
Okay, sure. As mentioned, we have 5 centers in St. Johns County. 3 of them operate as senior centers. One of those is Coastal Community Senior Center, which is our largest center at 180 Marine Street in downtown St. Augustine. It's open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 12. We also have Trout Creek Senior Center, and that's at 6795 Collier Road in Orangedale. That's open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:30 to 1. And we have Hastings Senior Center. That's at 6150 South Main Street in Hastings, across from the old library. That's open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:30 to 1. So they all offer socialization with other members, activities such as games, presentations on a variety of topics. We have recreation and exercise classes such as chair yoga, tai chi, dancing. Every center has bingo, which is very popular. We have lots of entertainment as well, singers and musicians. We occasionally do field trips as well. Some will go to other centers. They'll go on boat rides, botanical gardens, museums. Each of them offer meals, and they are served at no charge once you do paperwork with us. However, reservations do need to be made at least a day in advance. Then we have our River House location. That's at 179 Marine Street in downtown St. Augustine. It's open Monday through Thursday, 9 to 4. It's considered a lifelong learning center for those 18 and over. We have lots of classes that are offered there, usually about 40 to 50 a month. We offer classes in languages, exercises, meditation, various art classes, tech help, music, such as singing and instruments, dance, fishing, the list goes on and on. And there's, for most of those classes, there's a very reasonable monthly fee. Our Ponte Vedra location is at 175 Landrum Lane in Ponte Vedra. It's open Tuesday through Friday, and it's kind of a hybrid of both senior center and learning center. Tuesdays and Thursdays, it operates as a senior center from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and it has similar activities as our other centers. Lunch is served there, but at that location, there is a $5 charge. Advance reservations are required. And then Wednesdays, it's open 9 to 5, and Friday 10 to 3. And it offers classes such as tap dance and ballroom dance, as well as social groups who play various card and board games.
All right. So 5 senior centers, different locations, lots of different activities that are provided for the seniors. Each center is a little bit different from the other. But here in St. Augustine, we have 2 that are right across the street from each other, Coastal Community Center and then the River House. So we have just a couple minutes for this first segment. So, Teresa, if you would, just for our listeners tuning in, maybe they're hearing about River House for the very first time, just tell our listeners what they can expect to experience if they walk through the doors of River House on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
Well, good morning. River House sits on the Matanzas River. It's a lovely, looks like a colonial mansion. Big drive-under portico. You go around, a big fountain in front. And as you come in the big wooden double doors, there's a desk with Christy or myself sitting there. We have what I call a kiosk. In other words, it's a big rotating stand that has flyers of our different classes, although only about a fourth of them are posted there due to the fact I have 50 or more classes, and it only holds about 30 flyers. Mm-hmm. But we have our calendar, which shows all of our classes on it per month. So each month the classes do switch out. We have 6 different rooms that we use, while the River House on the weekends is a wedding venue. During the week, those 6 classes, our 6 rooms, become classrooms. So that includes a ballroom, just like you would expect anywhere, big room with a dance floor. We have what we call the conservatory, which is a very sunny room. We have a library with books on 2 walls. You can take books home. We just ask that you return them when you're done. We have a boardroom, just like an old-fashioned boardroom, long table, big leather chairs around it. We have a dance room with a big mirror, and we have an art room. So we have 6 rooms, and of those rooms, I have to pick and choose what classes go into what room, try to make them go along with what is available in that room, such as the art room has a sink, the dance room has a mirror, that sort of thing. And out the back, we have a large back porch with rocking chairs, little cafe table. So you want to bring your lunch, you'd have to bring it with you, but you can go out, sit on that back porch, one of those little cafe tables, watch the dolphins go by on the Matanzas, or just sit and watch the boats. It's lovely, especially with the cooler weather's coming up, just to come out there. But like we said, it's only Monday through Thursday, 9 to 4. Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, we're a wedding venue.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you for that. That's very descriptive, and I think it gives everybody a great idea of what they're walking into when they come to our River House location. We're going to go ahead and take our first break. I got other questions for Teresa and Leslie when we come back. You're listening to the weekly radio show of St. Johns County Council on Aging. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the weekly radio show, the St. Johns County Council on Aging, here on WFOY 102.1 FM. Your local radio station for news, sports, and talk. I'm Brian Robinson, Program Director for COA. Joined in the studio this morning by Leslie Gamache, COA's Program Manager, and Teresa Harris, who's the coordinator for our River House classes. And in our first segment, Leslie gave a nice description of each of our senior centers and their locations and their hours and what they offer. And then Teresa was talking about what you can expect when you walk through the doors of River House. And so I want to move on and talk a little bit more about River House. So we're already in the 3rd week of September. So let's kind of talk about what's coming up in October. I know this time of year is when our snowbirds start to come back, and so we have more participants coming, and therefore you have more classes to offer. So highlight some of the things coming up in October that folks can get registered for.
All right. Well, we have quite a bit coming up in October with some of the newer classes, though. I've got jewelry wire wrapping class with Kathy Tengestel. I've been trying to get a jewelry making class for some time, and she walked through my door one day, and I was just so happy. So she's teaching that class. That's on a Monday. We also have Zumba Gold. So if you're a senior or maybe someone who doesn't move that well, this one's a lower impact Zumba. But do realize that our classes at River House are for 18 and up. So while this one may be geared more towards the older population, our classes are for 18 and up, so this one just happens to be that way. Most of the classes, though, are much more energetic. We also have, if you like to go fishing, but you're not sure of the rules and regulations out there, and there are a lot, and you don't want to get fines from the Fish and Wildlife Commission, Know Before You Go Fishing Clinic series with Donna France. Those are on Tuesday. That is a 4 to 5 week series of classes where she talks about all those different rules and regulations, what kind of bait to use, what kind of fish you can catch, and sometimes she does a fishing class off the pier that we have at River House on the Matanzas River. I also have seashell art class coming back for October. It's going to be Halloween themed, and that is making art using seashells. That is taught by Jim Carglio, and it is done on Tuesday. Then we are also going to have on Thursdays gel press printing with Liz Monaco. That is another new class I have, but there are lots of others such as belly dance, ukulele, guitar, chair yoga. We even have a mahjong class. It's sold out already for October. My classes come out around the 10th of each month for the next month. And do be aware, if you wait until the last minute, you may not get into your favorite because some of these classes sell out really, really quickly. Now, those classes, all those classes range anywhere from $10 to $50, and that pays for the entire month of that particular class. We also have some classes that are free or programs that are free. And a couple of those are going to be container gardening and new beginnings. And that one will be how to make a container garden. This is taught by a St. Johns County master gardener, which is through the Extension Service, and that is Karen Doyle. Then we also have something new this month. I contacted the St. Johns County Parks and Rec and asked if they would come out and do a discussion on what's available for St. Johns County residents. Many people don't know that you can rent a pavilion at one of the beaches, one of the ones with benches and tables and a cover, so you can have a birthday party there or something. They have art classes, they have exercise classes, they have, what else do they have? Various things, fishing clinics also, but they have lots of different things with the St. Johns County Parks and Rec that are available to St. Johns County residents. If that's where you live, something to look into. It is very limited. I couldn't use my big room because I already had a class in there. So it's only limited to 13 people, and it is free, so it will fill up fast. So you do register online with that one on our website. We have a book club that's been really popular on Wednesdays. So we have a lot of stuff going on. I have a flyer that lists all the different programs and classes. And if you want, just look on the website. You can see a copy of it.
Yeah, and that's coasjc.org. Again, coasjc.org. And then you go to Centers, which is at the top. Just hover over that with your mouse. And then you can click on River House, and then it will show all the different listings that we have. And then there's also a link to Course Store that will take you to the classes that you do have to register for and pay for if a fee is necessary. So, all right, very good, very exciting to hear all of everything that's going on at River House. I just love the variety of classes, and I know it's a lot of work that you do to make that happen. So I applaud you on that.
Well, thank you.
And commend you for the hard work that you do. So thank you for doing everything that you do to make sure that there's lots of different offerings at our River House location.
And for people who are wondering, well, who teaches the classes, a lot of these teachers actually teach at Flagler College. Mm-hmm. So these are almost all of them are outstanding in their field. So these are not just someone, I'll just come in there and teach something. No, they have a background in the whatever topic they're teaching.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right, Leslie, let me switch back to you. Another goal of our senior center is to provide a safe place for seniors to socialize. So why do you feel it's important for seniors to remain social and not stay secluded in their home?
Well, I think it's important to remain social to improve overall health. I think research has shown this to be true. Staying at home alone can be lonely and depressing. It can be, if you're all by yourself, it can be unsafe. It can be harmful to your body if you're not using it, if you're just sitting at home all day, not using your muscles. Coming to our centers and engaging in the programs and activities stimulates the brain and helps to improve memory. Socialization in a group setting can improve mood, and exercises we offer can improve the physical health and mobility. Not only that, but we have so many different presentations offered that give them the information needed to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Getting up and getting out also adds value to life by giving one a sense of purpose and connection. And we've got a lot of great stories from some of our seniors that come to the centers where they may have had a spouse that died and they went into a depression, and somebody persuaded them to come to the center and just really boosted their mood. And all of our centers, they're like families. They watch out for each other. They have fun. They're just so happy. So it's a pleasure to see that. It's very rewarding.
It really. So my office is located on the west side of the building, and during the construction that we're doing, the renovation of the outside of the building, where we're putting in the new driveway on the east side with the portico, the covering that will be over. So when the buses come in, if it's raining, it will be okay. Nobody's going to get wet. Big project that we've been working on, nearing the end. But in the meantime, the seniors are coming in and out of the door that's by my office, and so a lot of times they're sitting out there waiting for the bus to come and pick them up. And so I get to talk with them a little bit. And I was speaking with one of the participants the other day, and and I've seen her many times because she comes pretty much every day, but I've never really had a chance to really just interact with her much. And she was just telling me about she has 6 kids and several grandchildren. She was talking a little bit about that, but she was just saying how coming to the center has really been so good for her. She just loves coming. She loves being around the people. She loves getting to socialize with them. She loves the activities that we do. She loves the presentations that, she was just going on and on and on about how much she loves Coastal Community Center. And it's just great to hear that, right? Because in the jobs that we do, we're, I have this budget that I'm juggling, and you have all the, the planning and preparation for all the different centers that you're juggling. And so often we can kind of forget why we're doing what we're doing, right? And then you get to sit down and speak with one of the participants, and you hear that, and then you're reminded of, okay, this is why we're doing what we're doing, right? Because this is really making a positive impact in the lives of these seniors. And so I find it rewarding. I'm sure you do as well.
Absolutely. My favorite story is a woman that came in actually looking for a job. She was retired from the FBI, and she just needed to get out somewhere. She said that she sat at home every day and cried. And so we didn't have a job to offer her at the time, but we told her about the center. And
all right, that music means we've got to get to our commercial. So hold that thought. We'll continue it in just a moment after this break. And welcome back to the weekly radio show, the St. Johns County Council on Aging, here on WFOY 102.1 FM, your local radio station for news, sports, and talk. I'm Brian Robinson, Program Director for COA. And before we continue on with this morning's show, let me let you know that next week in the studio, I will have Susan Miller and Bobby Doggett will be in the studio to talk about IMEP. So if you want to learn more about our Integrative Memory Enhancement Program, tune in next week, same place, same time, right here on WFOY 102.1 FM. But today we are talking about National Senior Center Month, and in the studio with me is Leslie Gamache, who is COA's Program Manager. And then Teresa Harris was with us during the first half of the show, and we have swapped spots with Teresa and our new guest, which is Linda Black, who is a River House participant. We're going to talk to her in just a moment, but I wanted Leslie to finish her story that was interrupted by our commercial break. You were talking about somebody and how coming to the center had positively impacted her life.
Yes, she actually came in looking for a job. She was retired, and she was very, very lonely. She lives by herself, and she said that she sat at home crying every single day. And so we didn't have any jobs available for her at the time, but we told her about volunteer activities. This was at the Coastal Community Center. And we told her about the center and, what kind of activities we have and how everybody supports each other. It's a big, happy family. They watch out for each other. And so she did end up coming in the next day, and she started coming every single day, and she absolutely loves it. So that's
great.
One of my favorite.
Yeah, and so then that's positively impacted her, and and now
gave her some purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that story. And now I want to switch to Linda Black. And from what I've been told, Linda has taken at least 83 classes since August of 2023 at our River House location.
Incredible.
So, Linda, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
It's great to have you in the studio. I just thought it would be great to hear from somebody who is a participant and how a senior center is impacting your life. But if you would, first tell our listeners about yourself.
Okay, I'm Linda Black. I was born in Pensacola during World War II. So then I returned to St. Augustine. I would have been born here, but my father was in the military at the time. I have lived here my entire life. I have never lived anywhere else except for short stints at college and that kind of thing. So
you've seen St. Augustine grow.
Yes.
Yeah.
I graduated high school in 1961. It was kind of like a Happy Days period, if you remember that television show and some of the movies that were in that era. Drugs were not heard of. They were just not here at that point in time. A little bit of alcohol, smoking on the sly, that kind of thing was going on. But that's about the worst anybody did that I know of. We had a good time growing up. I think that St. Augustine was just something iconic back then. Now it's grown up. Am I happy with it? No, I don't think I am. I like the small town atmosphere. Everybody knew everybody. You went to the grocery store and everybody in there was somebody you knew. Now you go to the grocery store and I never see anybody I know except maybe the cashiers or occasionally a stock person. That's about it. I grew up with a mother and father who had a business that they started from scratch called Leonard's, and it is a photographic operation. My brother and I were very involved and grew up with it. My brother was born during the time when we first started the business. I'm 8 years the senior. I'm 82, by the way. So I've been retired for a while. We had this photographic studio. We started out in a garage, and then it grew and grew and grew. And it's a pretty big operation right now. We went totally digital in '86, I believe. It was very, very, very discerning. My father kept saying, this will never compare with photographic film. There is no way it can ever compare. And now it just outpaces everything I've ever known.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So my brother and I wrote software for the company because you just couldn't buy canned software for our specialized niche. We did military contracts doing the recruit training stations, and then we did the school day operation, the mug shots in the fall and the class group pictures in the spring, that kind of thing. And that's still operational today. We also do senior high seniors and senior high schools, which we really didn't get into until, I guess, the 90s or so, mid-90s. And then I retired. And when I retired, I sat around the house and I worked in the yard and I did not interact with people. And I got more and more isolated. And finally one day I said to myself, you need to quit this. And so I had heard a lot about COA. I was taking an exercise class with the director at that time and got a lot of information from her. So we decided that I should go, and that's what I did. And once I got started, I just loved it.
Yeah, and now from what I hear, you're currently signed up for 8 classes this month?
I'm taking 8 classes this month. I'm scheduled for 8 next month. Mostly exercise, because that's the thing that I have done my entire life, and that was the thing that I missed very much when I retired, was not being active. So now I exercise 4 days a week because they're not open on Friday. I wish they were, but there you go. They have to have that 3-day weekend to recover, I guess.
Well, on the weekends, we use it for our weddings. We have lots of weddings
yes,
that take
you
place.
You do. Oh, the building is well used. Well used.
Yes.
Well used. It's just that I don't get my exercise on Fridays.
Well, I feel like, all the classes that you've taken and continue to take, I feel like we need to have like a VIP parking spot for you.
I've taken drawing and watercolor. I've taken color pencil drawing. We did some perspective stuff, which was buildings.
All right. Well, that music means we do got to take our next break, so we will continue our conversation with Linda Black right after these messages. And welcome back to the final segment of the weekly radio show of the St. Johns County Council on Aging here on WFOY 102.1 FM, your local radio station for news, sports, and talk. I'm Brian Robinson, Program Director for COA, joined in the studio right now by Leslie Gamache, COA's Program Manager, and Linda Black, who has taken over 83 classes since August of 2023 at our River House location. And so prior to the commercial, Linda, you were telling us about some of the different classes that you've taken. I want to shift towards a different question, if we could, in this last segment. And that is, what would you say to somebody out there that's listening this morning, and maybe they're kind of in a similar situation? They retired, they've kind of isolated themselves, and they know they shouldn't be isolating themselves, and they would like to come to River House, but maybe they're just a little bit nervous about it. What would you say to that person, like that could benefit from the River House?
I would say they need to just come and give it a try. You can come in and talk to some of the people right up front in the office and find out what's going on. And I see people from time to time doing that. You come into a class and you're with a bunch of people that are just like you. And I never have felt intimidated or nobody's ever been rude or ugly to me. Everybody's been very helpful. All your contemporaries in the class with you are very helpful and interested in anything you have to say. I don't see a lot of gossiping except among people that are really friends. Mm-hmm. But we do talk about what we're doing in the class that we're taking and look at each other's work, if it's drawing or painting or some of the creative things they do. It's fun. It's really fun, and it has given me a whole new outlook, I think, on life. I've begun to feel like I'm coming back alive again. I've got things to do. I've got places to go. I've got people to talk to, and they're not little bitty kids. And it's not my husband, who I love dearly. But it's somebody.
It's nice to have other people to talk to than your spouse, right?
Yes, outside people to talk to. So I would encourage anybody to give it a try. You just have to find the thing you like to do, and the wonderful thing about it is the classes are only 4 weeks long. There's usually just one class a week. So in 4 classes, you're done with it, even if you decided you hated it.
Sure.
You know, I was terrible, really, really bad with watercolor. And I was so happy when that class was over.
But you gave it a try.
I gave it a try. I found out that's something that I'm probably not adapted to. Drawing, I enjoyed drawing. That was a lot of fun. And I liked the color pencil art, you know. So, and then I shifted around to the exercise because that's something I've done since I was a small girl. My mother put me in dance classes because she said I was so clumsy. She thought that was the only way I could keep from hurting myself, was to get a little grace by doing the dance classes.
And did that help?
Yes, it did. It did.
You became less clumsy.
Less clumsy, able to put one foot in front of the other without falling down.
Oh, good.
You know, all those things. And that's what the classes have gotten me back into now.
And so my next question for you, as someone who's taken a lot of classes at River House, are there any that you would like to personally see at the center that we don't currently have available?
I have thought about that over and over again, and one of the things that we didn't have that they have recently installed is strength training, which I felt like was sorely lacking in they've added some more just straight exercise classes. They've got dance classes of various and sundry sorts, and they've got so much of a variety. Can I think of anything in particular? No, not right off the top of my head. I mean, they pretty well cover everything. Maybe cooking classes, something to help you plan meals and get along, coming up with something for a pair of old people that need a little help, trying to come up with something interesting and good for you. Both. We've got some things they've done that address what you should and shouldn't eat, but no, I can't think of anything. I did some quilting at one time. They don't have anybody quilting right now. Other than that, no.
Okay. Well, great. Well, that's actually, is good, because it sounds like we're offering enough that you seem to be satisfied with, and so that's good to hear. So I want to shift back. We just have a few minutes left. I want to shift back to Leslie, and I just want to give you a little bit of time to kind of highlight some of the other things that are going on at our other centers, because we, in addition to River House, we have 4 other locations. So if you would, in these last few minutes, just highlight some of the things going on at the other centers.
Okay, sure. I'll start off with our Coastal Community Senior Center. In October, in addition to our normal activities such as Tai Chi, we have Tai Chi on Mondays, chair exercise on Tuesdays and Thursdays, yoga on Wednesdays. We also, as far as presentations, we have the St. Augustine Lighthouse representative coming to talk about the history of that on October 20th. On October 27th, we have Linda from the CARES program with the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. She's going to talk about scams. We have a Halloween party, which is going to include a costume party where we'll give prizes to best dressed, and that's going to be October 31st. Let's see. Oh, I believe Medicare open enrollment is coming up, so a couple of centers are having representatives come to talk about that. At Coastal, that will be 10 o'clock on Friday, October 24th. At Hastings, we've got a lot of activities there as well. They have a new program with AHEC. That's, what does that stand for? The Area Health Education Center. They're doing Tai Chi twice a week there, starting on September 22nd. It's Tai Chi for arthritis on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I believe that lasts until the beginning of December. We have yoga there on Fridays. They're also going to have a Halloween party where they're going to be dressing up on the 31st. Let's see.
It's always fun to see that. The 3 years that I've been at working at COA, and they always do that.
Oh, and they love it.
And they're very creative.
Yes, we have a lot of people that love to dress up, and they have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, also at Hastings on October 24th, we have a intro rhythm drum circle. Intro to Rhythm Drum Circle, October 24th. That's a lot of fun.
All right,
it's supposed to be good for your brain.
Okay, so we're going to run out of time because we just have a few seconds left in our show. So, Leslie, thank you for coming. Linda, thank you for coming and talking about River House classes. And I'm so excited to know that it's been such a positive impact in your life. And that music does mean it's time for our show to end. So we will see you here next week, same time, same place, here on WFOY 102.1 FM.